What is going on out there, peeps? All right, things is getting crazy as usual. Look, the Democrats have nothing. They have no power. So all they have left in their little playbook is just resist, make false accusations, have their media buddies join them, and still trying to do what they can to smear Trump. What they're not grasping is the vast majority of Americans, including Democrats, are with Trump. They're tired of these childish games being played by the Democrats, and they're really starting to lose voters galore. Let's go over some of the latest things that have been happening and why it should be an eye-opener for the Democrats. First of all, this memo went out to Democrats on how they can get back into good graces of the American people. They literally had to send out a memo on what to do. The party should embrace patriotism, community, and traditional American imagery. Yeah, they had to be reminded to be patriotic. That's terrible. Democrats should ban far-left candidate questionnaires and refuse to participate in forums that create ideological purity tests and move away from the dominance of small dollar donors whose preference may not align with the broader electorate. They should push back against far-left staffers and groups that exert a disproportionate influence on policy and messaging. See, even they're starting to realize that their party is starting to get too far to the left side. Candidates should get out of elite circles and into real communities. Tailgaters, gun shows, local restaurants, churches, and parties need to own the failures of democratic governance in large cities and commit to improving local government. That's how bad things are for the Democrats. This memo had to go out and tell them to get away from all the left ideology and then remember to be patriotic and fix their own communities and then own up to all the failures under their governance. So you know things are bad when this comes from CBS News. After Trump's State of the Union, a survey by CBS News shows that there was an approval of 76%. A 76% approval on that speech. The media is trying to make it sound like people are appalled and they hate Trump because of it. But that's not what polls show. The vast majority of Americans support what Trump is doing. But meanwhile, you had people disrupting the speech. Al Green here just kept going and going to the point where he got kicked out. So that's the latest move by Democrats now, is to get kicked out of committees and then run to the media and cry about it and try to make the Trump administration look bad. First of all, people were paying attention. Elon Musk told everybody before Trump got into office, before the election, he and Trump had already went over what it was they were going to do. And Elon tweeted out this. Elon Musk asked voters to brace for economic hardship, deep spending cuts, and potential Trump cabinet role. He said the first year is going to be hard for you. He said in the home stretch for the 2024 election, voters who've been weighing both campaigns' proposals to tackle living costs are now hearing a new pitch from the Republican side. Accept short-term economic pain to rein in government spending. So he was already warning people ahead of time if you're paying attention. This was before the election. But I'd rather them guys go out and find a fraud, but then not just find a fraud, find out how it happened and the people responsible and make them accountable, or they'll just come back and continue to do it again. This message has emerged from former President Donald Trump's wealthiest backer, Elon Musk, who says that the GOP nominee plans to put the U.S. on firm fiscal footing would likely entail temporary hardship for ordinary Americans. And the reason why the Democrats are having a shit fit is because they benefit from all the corruption that's taken place in Washington and all these other departments that we're wasting our money on. So again, this came out October the 30th, and it was updated on November 1st. So this is before Trump was even elected. He warned that there's going to be some hardship, but just to hang tight. And I'm going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt because we can already see him in action. But what the Democrats are really pissed about is Trump made jokes about it. And they were funny. And the Democrats didn't like it. Let's hear.
95% slowed pipeline construction to a halt and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
Which is good because we're having to import electricity and energy from Canada, who is currently threatening to cut us off because of these tariff wars. So when you rely on other people to supply you with stuff, then you're at their mercy. Because as soon as you don't agree with something that they don't like, they could just cut you off. We're making another country rich. For what purpose?
And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
So look at the Democrats. They won't support or cheer for anything. They look ridiculous to the American people.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
See, here's the thing. We had all these things already here in the United States. But they slap so much regulations, so many permits, make people jump through so many hoops, claiming it's all climate related, that we end up having to import it from other countries. And it costs us tons of money. Another thing I think is hilarious, listening to the media and the Democrats complain about how Elon Musk is going to benefit without realizing how stupid that sounds. Trump got rid of the electric vehicle mandate. You know, like the vehicles that Elon Musk manufactures.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe.
Here goes Trump. Nobody trolls people better than Trump. Listen to what he says and why he's one of the funniest people.
They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. You know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
People keep asking about transparency. Just go to dogetracker.com. They put everything on this website. They've already found $105 billion. This is only 5.25% of the total $2 trillion that they're looking to cut from the budget. That's saving each taxpayer $652.17 each. You can scroll down here. You can see every day how much they're saving, which department they're saving the most money. So here you go. Here's a list of things that Doge has recovered. So stop listening to all the chatter out there and just pause this and go ahead and look at all the items yourself. As a matter of fact, I'll leave this link down below in the description so you can come and see for yourself. This is all things that taxpayers didn't even realize they were funding. How are they funding these things without letting American people know? I don't think we'd agree on any of these things, to be honest with you. So I'll leave this link down below so you guys can go ahead and just come over here and look at it yourself. So like I was saying earlier, that's the new in thing, to go ahead and get tossed out of hearings and committees.
Let me proceed. Data from Texas shows that U.S.-born Americans commit more rape and murder than immigrants.
Listen, this trend of you all trying to get thrown out of committees so you can get on MSNBC is going to end. We're not going to put up with it.
This is my procedural right as a member of this committee
you can go with Mr. Frost and Mr. Green.
I am reclaiming my time.
That's what you want. No. Ms. Presley, I have been very accommodating to you. Mr. Superjohn,
and I take particular umbrage as a survivor of sexual violence. I will enter into the record. This is my right.
That's what the left does all the time. Look how she threw that in there. What has being a survivor of sexual assault got to do with the committee hearing?
Thank you.
No.
And it continued.
Chair recognized Mr. Frost. You still have 349. You're going to maybe revise the disparaging comment about the president because that's supposed to be our decorum here. I guess you can disparage Elon Musk if you want.
I will withdraw grifter in chief. I will say the president's grifting because you spent the last 2 years saying President Biden
take down his words.
I can say that Trump is grifting.
Ultimately, Frost was not allowed to speak.
The member is barred from further participation.
Al Green not only was kicked out of the joint address to Congress, but the next day he was censored. Now he's censored. He can't talk in his committees. That's the same thing that happened to Adam Schiff. And I'm sure going to see more of this because this is all they have left is to act like children and try to be disruptive. But let me show you what the public is saying.
The Democratic Party itself is frankly an irrelevant political party. They don't have a message. Their policy positions have left cities across this country in shambles. I mean, even last night, let's just think about this for a minute. The president highlighted DJ, the young kid who's dealing with cancer survivor. They didn't even have enough decency to stand.
Look how smug this chick is. Anna Navarro. She's like a fat pig. Look how smug she is.
And applaud. He highlighted the mother whose daughter was killed by an illegal immigrant. They didn't stand and applaud. He talked about law enforcement, not the bad guys, but the ones who are doing good work every day across this country, keeping our cities safe. They didn't stand and applaud. It appears to me that the Democratic Party, in my personal opinion, is a party that is in chaos.
Now, I know Democrats probably think that they were making some sort of a political statement last night. But what the rest of the country and the world saw was the Democratic Party refusing to clap or root for anything good for the United States and its people.
You know, after last night, I think I can confidently say that it's no longer a battle of left or right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, or liberal. This is a fight between good and evil. What we witnessed last night at the State of the Union address, what the Democratic Party pulled there, I don't care if you hate Trump with every ounce of your being. You are free to do that, okay? I don't even like everything that he does. I really don't, okay? But you have to put that shit aside and be a freaking good human. And what we witnessed yesterday was evil. Pure evil. The fact that they let their hatred for one man completely overshadow every good thing that was said and done last night is disgusting. And I just hope that you realize when the time comes, you're gonna want to be on the right side. And I don't mean that as like the right, conservative. You're just gonna want to be on the right side as far as Jesus is concerned. Okay? It's not about parties. It's not about politics. It's not about any of that. It's about being a good human. And those people last night are disgusting humans, and I have no problem saying that. This war is just beginning.
I think the Democrats are the slimiest, most insufferable, ignorant leeches in government. Last night, Trump had his joint address to Congress. Everything I hoped for and more. He laid out his vision for a stronger America, a safer America, a more common sense America, an America that'll benefit all of its citizens. And of course, the Democrats sat there, stone-faced, arms crossed, radiating pure bitterness because their hatred for one man is stronger than their love for this country. I especially found it ironic that they chose to wear all pink to protest and to symbolize what? Femininity, when the day before they voted against women to allow men in women's sports. Okay, and then they held up signs saying this is not normal. When they support castrating children and men cosplaying as women, yeah, the jokes write themselves. Democrats hate you. They made it especially obvious last night when they refused to stand for grieving widows, families, and a 13-year-old child with brain cancer. They couldn't even clap for the apprehension of terrorists or the protection of women, or even acknowledge basic, uncontroversial achievements like a balanced budget. But rest assured, they made sure to lift their self-righteous fannies off their chairs to give Ukraine a thunderous applause. The Party of Joy is just a congregation of soulless, evil, power-hungry frauds that do not and will not ever represent America.
Liberals, you are in a wrestling match with Jesus Christ and you don't even know it. At this point, you guys got to step it up because Jesus is on your heads right now. For 4 years, you tried to get rid of this man. For 4 years, you tried to lock him up, and you even tried to assassinate him. And you almost had it, but you forgot. You are in an arm wrestling match with Jesus Christ. You're not going to win this one. The most that you can get after 4 years of trying to take this man out is being able to call him a felon. And even that is nothing. Jesus was called even worse. Come on, y'all. At some point, you're going to have to realize that this man is being backed by God. And the more that you continue to fight against Trump, the more you continue to fight against God. It's as simple as that. Trump is not God, but he is being backed by God. And that is why you guys can never win any one of these cases, except him being called a felon. And even that, he has no punishments, no consequences of this. Why is that? At some point, you're going to have to replay all these scenarios. And you have to come to that one undeniable truth. Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is King. And you, liberals, have been arm wrestling with Jesus Christ for the last 4 years. God bless.
Hey, Dems, are you embarrassed? I'd be pretty fucking embarrassed if I were you. Yeah, I'd be pretty embarrassed. After last night, I would never call myself a Dem again. In fact, I've gotten quite a few messages from Dems saying that they don't want to affiliate with Democrats anymore, and they actually deeply, deeply regret siding with you, not even realizing how fucking brainwashed they are. I wish you guys saw what kind of cult you were in, because, you know, you never failed to amaze me. I don't understand. So you care about women, right? But you won't cheer for women, and you won't cheer for us getting men out of women's sports. You're angry about that, right? Oh, okay. But you care for women, right? Sure. You care for children, but you won't cheer for a child who just got named an honorary Secret Service member who has brain cancer and wasn't even supposed to survive? Right. And you won't cheer that we're no longer transitioning literal children. Okay. Sure, moving on. So you care about people who serve the country, but you won't cheer on a senior in high school who just got told by the President of the United States that he gets to go to his dream school, his dream military academy.
Last night, all of the Democrat women, as if they could even define that word, they wore pink in solidarity for women's rights against Donald Trump, of course. But since Donald Trump has taken office, not only did he expand access to IVF, but he also signed, the very first thing that he did in office was sign the Laken-Riley Act, which, let me remind you that 158 Democrats, including the ones in this picture wearing pink for women's rights, they voted against deporting illegals who commit sex crimes against women and children, and if they were to unalive a woman or a child, these Democrats for women's rights voted against deporting said criminals. They also just voted to keep biological men in women's sports. You're all for women's rights, but your voting history speaks for itself and says otherwise. And what I really wanted to talk about here and express my gratitude to the Democratic Party, which is not so democratic anymore. You're literally in Wisconsin voting to take the word mother away and replace it with inseminated persons.
No, go on, MAGA. Tell us, what made you so radical?
Over the last 10 years, there has been a few things that has radicalized me, but I'll focus on just one for now, and it's the treatment of Donald Trump. I'm old enough to remember when Donald Trump was considered a cultural icon. He went from real estate, media appearances, being a guest on talk shows, interviews, commercials, cameos in film and television, the WWE, The Apprentice, mentions of him in popular music, the list goes on. My DECA marketing teacher even used to play The Apprentice to his class. I'm positive he doesn't do that anymore. The moment that he came down that escalator in 2015 as a Republican, the script did a complete 180, and I watched that happen. I saw the manipulation, the gaslighting, the spinning, the grandstanding immediately from the left. Democrats and the media are the literal reason why I started paying more attention to politics and gave my first ever vote to Donald Trump. Here's me actually talking about it in 2016. People that I had actually grown up with cut me off. They branded me a racist, white supremacist, maggot, piece of something about that flipped a switch in me. The name calling actually hurt at the time, but I wasn't watching out of context 10-second clips presented to me by an influencer or a TV show host. I was actually watching the uncut C-SPAN footage, looking at the statistics, and I was being told to not believe my lying eyes and ears. It's been 10 years now, and in the beginning I felt like I was going crazy, but maybe that was the intended purpose, the intended outcome. So that was the tipping point for me back then. It was also things like this that
you are white,
radicalized me.
This message is for you. If you're not white, well, say anyways, because it's not like white people don't colonize our spaces anyways. So whenever you do that and you get called a mayo monkey or a bleach demon or a snow roach, can somebody CC me on that email because I didn't get it and I'm very upset about it.
There's a lot of videos like this in different formats, and it's rhetoric that's explained away as anything but racism all the way up to the university level. Behavior and dehumanizing rhetoric that has been made acceptable against white people. But even towards Christian conservatives in general, because the way the left treats black conservatives is absolutely despicable. But all of this is a conversation for a different video.
I found it very cowardly that a lot of the Democrats didn't stand, didn't clap, didn't do anything to support anything that Donald Trump is trying to do as president to make this country better. It was very shameful to the Democrats.
Trump set this trap for Democrats. Really, the Democrats set the trap for themselves, and he just called their attention to it. When he said, I could get up here, I could cure the worst diseases, I could do the greatest feats, and they would not stand up and applaud. And at that point, they said, well, now we're really not going to stand up and applaud. So, you know, just to use the most stirring example, in a night of amazing moments, the one that stole the show was that 13-year-old boy who's been fighting brain cancer, DJ, special agent, Secret Service agent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he always wanted to be a cop, and he's now made a member of the U.S. Secret Service. And you just think, man, if you can't agree in this country that that is a good thing, we have nothing in common. We have nothing that we can agree on. And the Democrats would not stand up. Many of them would not even applaud a little kid fighting cancer.
Normally, I put up funny stuff in my videos and in my lives. And I usually don't do politics in my lives. But after last night's speech, I want to say something. I'm a Democrat. I served in the United States Navy, and I'm a Democrat. Did I always vote Democratic way? No. I voted for Obama because in the beginning I thought he was best for me and my nation and my family. I didn't vote for him the second term. And there was no way in hell I was going to vote for Hillary. I voted Trump. And there was no way in hell I was going to vote for Biden. But many people did, and he won the election. I'm going to say that right out. He won the election. But after what I seen last night, when the kid with brain surgery was announced and not one Democrat stood up, I realized I'm not a Democrat. I'm a fucking Republican. As soon as I can, I'm going to be switching over from a Democrat to a Republican. Because I don't want to be associated with that fucking shit. How fucking disrespectful can you get? And I hope that all of the younger generation starts to see what I just witnessed. I hope for the next 30 years, it's fucking Republican. You lost me, Democrats. Farewell. Donald Trump, welcome to the office, and I respect you. Take care.
If you've watched Donald Trump's State of the Union speech addressing both parties last night, and after watching that speech, you still stand with the Democrats, you're a part of the problem. Because the man was addressing the wins for the country and everything positive he's done so far. And like he said, nothing that he could say would make the Democrats happy. The man literally said he could cure a terminal illness. And after doing that, the Democrats would still be unhappy about it. Bruh, I just don't get why these people can really stay up there and be so mad that America is winning. I mean, he said it the best when he said, oh, they were talking that they need a new legislation, they need a new this, they need that. but all they needed was a new president to close down the border. And then for these women who showed up in their pink looking like a giant bottle of fucking Pepto-Bismol, like diarrhea. See, they say they showed up in protest of Trump's betrayal for women, right? But they couldn't even give an applaud when Donald Trump introduced Laken Riley's mom and sister and Jocelyn Nungary's mom to the entire crowd. He even went ahead and named a 35,000 acre property, which is like basically an animal wildlife sanctuary, right? And he renamed or designated this property after Jocelyn Nungary. You know what I'm saying? Because he found out that she really loved wildlife. And while Jocelyn's mom was being emotional and shedding a tear, and the whole screen paneled onto her, and then you look back at the Democrats, not one of them stood up, not one of them gave a round of applause. Like, we're talking about two young ladies, a little girl and a young lady who lost their lives to violent Venezuelan Biden puppets. See, we're not going to talk about the fact that Nicolas Maduro said that he has papers that he is going to get to Donald Trump, which shows Biden requested Nicolas Maduro to empty his prisons and send those violent illegal immigrants, Trende Aragua gang members here. He got the papers. He'll send it to Donald Trump, showing that Biden requested it. But we're not talking about that. Because you know what really broke my heart? Was the fact that that 13-year-old boy who survived cancer, brain cancer, who was made a police officer by police officers multiple times because he expressed his love and appreciation for police officers, right? But when Donald Trump made the Secret Service make him an officer in the Secret Service, and that boy was showing so much gratitude and being so happy about it, and even hugged the Secret Service agent, and the rest of the crowd got up and cheered. The Democrats sat there on their hands. Like, they showed they hate this country so much, they couldn't even come together and unite as our leaders to show gratitude and give thanks and celebrate the wins with America. But yet, they're still out there protesting about their slush funds being found and canceled by Elon Musk and Doge. The only thing these people deserve after last night was either a letter or a video from Donald Trump telling each and every one of them, "You're fired."
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
Democrats are disgusting.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
This is one of the sweetest moments, and them disgusting Democrats couldn't even support this.
Thank you, DJ.
You can't arrest me. You too cocky. Bitch ass back for real. Sir. Arrest her.
So you just saw that. His own people with the same skin color are making fun of him, laughing at him, recording him, really just trying to embarrass him and make fun of him. Now let's fast forward into time and let's see this.
I'm going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
But those evil, racist, white Republicans and white people are being nice to him, putting him on camera, clapping for him, giving him honorary memberships in the Secret Service, genuinely showing him love, care, and appreciation, or simply being nice to him. But our own people are busy making fun of him, denigrating him, trying to embarrass him. Here I just showed you as clear as day. And the problem is most black people will be quiet about it. They're not going to say anything about it. They're not going to call it out for what it is. Those people doing that to him should be absolutely embarrassed. What they were doing was disgusting. But the point I'm making is maybe all these white people and the Republican Party isn't as evil, racist, and bad as many of us think it is. The Democrats emotionally manipulate many of us using racism to get us to think that, so we will continue to vote for Democrats. And they continue to do it because it works. We should be calling out those people who are making fun of him.
Hey, so this message is for the useless Democrat members of Congress. What the hell do you stand for? Whose side are you on? Do you even stand at this point? Because you wouldn't stand for a child with cancer. You didn't stand for a widow. You wouldn't stand for a mother who lost her child. It only seems like you'll stand up for yourself, and you'll stand up for the money laundering that's going on in Ukraine. I mean, well done. Bravo for last night during the State of the Union, because the only thing that you guys proved was how useless you are. And you proved to each and every single one of your constituents that you are for yourself and nobody else.
If you voted for Donald Trump, then that means that you voted for people to be deported, and you voted for children to be taken away from their families, and you're racist, and you're a monster, and you have no empathy, and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. The alternative was voting for a woman who was in charge of the border for the last 4 years, and over 300,000 children have gone missing under her watch, many of whom have now been sex trafficked or labor trafficked or are still missing. Tell me again how I didn't vote for the best interests of children? The alternative was voting for an administration who for the last 4 years let millions of illegal unvetted people to come into the country where my children live and play Russian roulette with American safety. The alternative was voting for a woman who could not do one interview and give a clear and direct explanation of what she had planned for the border. What you're seeing is that she failed at her job for the last 4 years of keeping that border secure. And before you're like, oh, well, it's not everybody. There are people that come to have a better life. and there are good people. Nobody's saying that there's not. And nobody's saying that they can't be here. Do it the right way. If there's 100 people that come, one is bad, the rest are good. Guess what? I don't want that risk. My kids live here. There is a reason that these laws are in place, is to protect American citizens. I don't know why you guys cannot see that. I don't know what's not clicking. And then you hear, well, Americans commit more crimes in America than other people. And what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? I don't want a criminal in office. I would never vote for a criminal. So the alternative was letting in millions of criminals. That's the better alternative. You guys are like, sometimes I wonder. The difference between someone who voted for Donald Trump and someone who voted for Kamala Harris, if you ask someone why they voted for Donald Trump, they can give you reasons, logic, statistics, facts. If you ask someone why they voted for Kamala Harris, they're going to give you reasons why you shouldn't vote for Donald Trump. See the difference? If you watch Donald Trump's campaign, it's about policies that he planned to implement for America. If you watch Kamala's campaign, it's about why you shouldn't vote for Donald Trump. Do you see the difference? The right was focused on the right. The left is also focused on the right. There's a problem there. Whenever the left talks about politics, they're always talking about why Orange Man bad, and they are never talking about why Kamala is the better choice. Because you can't. Because if you focus on policies and numbers and facts, you focus on the effects that it had on Americans, and you love America, then you'd be forced to acknowledge maybe it isn't the better choice. And that is why more people than ever have left the Democratic Party. So the next time you say that somebody who voted for Donald Trump, who voted in favor of deportations, is a racist, I want you to tell me what the alternative was, the effects of the alternative, and why that alternative was a better choice. Thank you.
I just want to know one thing. If you're a Democrat, for instance, how do you justify them not standing or applauding for any of the topics or things that he stood for? Like, how do you not stand or applaud when he brings up protecting women after the Lake and Riley incident? How do you not stand and applaud when he brings out a young boy with brain cancer and makes him a federal agent? How do you not applaud and stand when he says he hopes to balance the federal budget for the first time in 25 years? How do you not stand when he brings up protecting women, specifically men in women's sports? How do you not stand when he says he wants to bring about peace and end the wars? You see the point I'm getting at here. How can you be a Democrat and stand for anything? Even if you don't like Trump, okay? The American people are watching this and they care about what your opinion is and how you stand with these issues, no matter who the president is. I just think that this party's done.
I was wrong to ever trust these people. It's like, and many Democrats are opening up to this acceptance that they were wrong, they were misguided, they were lied to. And it's all this bait and switch. And that's what the party's been. And that's what, and nobody in their right mind can continue to support that.